Okay, here's another handy chart. It's called a scatter plot. And here's the independent variable, chirps per minute, and the dependent variable, temperature. So, I think they got this mixed up, George. I would have put temperature down here as the independent variable, the variable that I can control, or is usually the one that's the major influence. So like temperature, you can almost think of a temperature gauge down below here. And as you turn the temperature up, the chirps per minute would go up. But they didn't do that, so let's pretend that chirps per minute are the independent or the deep independent variable, and this is temperatures dependent on chirps per minute. We know that's not true. So chirps per minute, when you have a low temperature, 70 degrees, low number of chirps. A little higher temperature, the chirps are starting to go up. You've got a couple of points up here without a big temperature change that the chirps didn't change too much, started to trend upward here. But of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, it's pretty apparent that as temperature rises, got up to 85 degrees or so here, we had over 1,000 chirps per minute. Oh man, Gracie used to talk like that. She'd chirp in 1,000. No, let's not say anything bad about Gracie, George. That was his wife for over 50 years. So anyway, as chirps go up higher, temperature goes up higher. And this starts to say there's a correlation, but perhaps not a cause and effect. Can be a handy chart, but you got to know what you're doing when you use it. Here's a very insightful chart, and I love to see this combined with a histogram. Why do you like to see it with a histogram? Well, it's good that you asked, George. As as we see in 1987, this is a pretty funny video. 1987, there were 2,000 movie theaters. By 1989, there were only 1,000 left. What happened in those 2 years? What product or situation in society, oops, kind of got ahead of myself there, oops. What product or situation in society changed the market in 2 years about going to the drive-in? But it dropped right off, continued to drop off all the way to 2003 when there's only about 600-700 drive-in theaters left in the country. A great way to represent data though. In fact, if you represent data with a histogram, you've got the center and spread displayed, and then you represent it with a line chart, you've got the variation over time, and you can see what kind of pattern there might be. These charts are handy, whether it's dot plot, Pareto chart, histogram, stem and leaf, scatter plot, or line chart like this to track things over time. They're handy to display data in an insightful way. But it's only really insightful for the people that know the data, that know the background of the data. Because if you show people a chart like this for the number of drive-in movies who are social workers, who are perhaps nurses or business managers, unless they're in that business of drive-in movies, they probably aren't aware of what really drove the situation down. So statistics allows us to display data more clearly, but it's the insight of the people who put the data together, whether it's social work, nursing, criminal justice, or business. So with that, that's the end of Chapter 2. It's been fun doing it, and George, I'm really glad you stopped by. Hey, I was glad to be here. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to go have a cigar. Okay, George, but take it easy on those. You're 106. So take care and good luck in your studies with statistics, and we'll have visitors stop in and we'll continue to talk about the chapters that are upcoming. But frequency diagrams, relative frequency, histograms tell a big story and are the beginning of our discussion in probability and in a number of other statistical techniques. So it's good to be aware of them, be comfortable using them, and then you can continue on and use some more, I wouldn't say so much sophisticated, but things that give other insights. I don't think, the simplest tool sometimes is the best way to display things, but sometimes you need the more sophisticated tools. Take care.